everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we're taking a look at the elimination battles from the first season of Street Woman Fighter. These series of battles is going to be from YGX and La Chica. So I know that at this point, La Chica has already kind of battled through an elimination already, but we get to see them here again against YGX, and I believe they come out on top here as well. So as we watch each battle, I kind of understand how the results are going to be, and that's how I may tailor some of my feedback. So we're going to go ahead and take a look.
Are you ready? Fight!
Okay. 5v5.
You got the can, can't afford hurricanes. You got the bad, but can't afford it. Take off. No limit to the money. I picked the gang up, took a flight across the country. I just told her keep the ones coming. Hit the store to get some backwoods and left the right running. Looking like they blind, but we all like the bad that she wants.
I like that. That was cool.
Like them James like you want it. Take you wanna spin a 50, hit the scene with a dollar. Gotta keep their eyes on them. Snake in the sky, probably wanna slide on them. Bet they ride on them when I put that prize on them. 10 bad, okay, we got 5 of them. Two-step. Two-step.
Okay, camera angle, we see you here. Man.
YGX.
Here we go.
We about to go in, and we can't stop now. Dance. Do I have your attention?
Okay.
Dance.
This is a holy beat.
Oh.
Talk to the left hand, cause you ain't right. Which one of you? I'm a f***ing you staring. My booty know you seen it.
Oh.
I see the diss here. I see the diss there. That was from when Gabby was against Ike in her pants. They struggled to get her pants off, right? Are they helping her now? Oh, I love that. Those pants are so hard to get off. Okay, so let's dial it back here. What a great start. Like, whenever you get to the eliminations, I think I mentioned this when I watched the previous series of eliminations, but I'm going to say it again here. Whenever the white stage comes out, I feel like we kind of drop the facade of the drama. And what I mean by that is sometimes when we see the first battles of the show, of any of the seasons of this series, you just take note of like how dramatic some people's intentions appear, as well as their ego trips, even though that may be super exaggerated for how they feel. But when we get to the eliminations, the drive and the oomph to want to win is there, and the desperation is there, but there's not that extra level of ego that is fabricated on top of that, if that makes sense. Which is why I prefer the elimination battles. I hate saying that. I prefer watching crews do the elimination battles over the regular battles, because I feel like we get to see a more authentic representation of their growth, as well as just how they choose the vibe with what they have and their creativity. I just see a lot more of that here than if it was just a regular battle. Okay, so if we're comparing just out the gate, I really like what La Chica did. Not Unison, I would say just one of my dancers. She didn't quite extend her arms as full as the other members, and it's very small. But, you know, this is the last elimination before the finals, right? So even little things like that can factor into whether a score goes between one person or another. And also note, after about 2 counts of Unison, they go and transition into something, a creative position, which is this. They drop down, they have one of them kind of pulse it, they end up doing just 2 to signify what they're going for, and then they get out of it. They also do a great job, I will say. It's a great strategy that's really been working for them. Cater and placate to the judges as well as who your opponent is. And they're one of the only crews that I have felt that is strategically done that every time. Other crews, I feel like they really just direct their attention to their opponent, which in most cases I would kind of lean to that. But because of your fight judges or how the judges are formatted for this season, this may actually do better because they are far away. I don't know. I just kind of feel like this may be a strategy that worked in their favor, you know, because they're doing a lot of this facing the judges. when their opponent is over here, right? I mean, your opponent's hanging out over there. They're kind of just watching as spectators. And I kind of feel like, because I've already seen Street Man Fighter, the whole thing. And so I feel that this reminds me of, was it Weedham Boys? Weedham Boys also did something like that when they did a 5v5 against YGX, funnily enough. But we'll save that for a different time. And so they're now in a different formation, still unison, but they end up they drop into every other, and then they do an add-on here, which is really nice. And they're pretty clean for the majority of it. It's interesting, it matches the music, they're doing dynamic shifts and changes. I really like it. And it's a different style than what we normally see them do. They really try to hit that femme pocket, you know. I know Gabby was trying to do more of a Vogue influence based on her training or whatever, but because of the track. Like, they really know how to match their track. And I think it's very impressive. I like it. They do their jazz split, they go into here. My only note that I'm going to go ahead and say about YGX is that, yes, they are placating to the judges, which is great. I love that. And they blah, blah, great, into unison. I think that's my biggest issue here, is that most of their stuff is chilling in unison, and a lot of their exploding moments happen on a midline. So they're not really engaging super on the ground as much. I feel like we're going to see more of that, especially when Yeti gets involved in 1v1s. I'm really excited to see her, because at this point I haven't seen her yet, right? But you have your one feature over here, but everybody's still chilling on the midline. We haven't really dropped to the ground at all yet, you know? And now they're facing their opponent. It's still unison, very basic formation shifts, but also that's something that Lechka did too. They're still very clean, but they're keeping in the upper body a little bit more. Leaning down. Now they're taking the approach, it's a risk that's very similar to what Waby did way back in the first round of eliminations I reacted to. My big thing is, this is your risk that you run into. Will your judges appreciate that you're not choreographing all of it and you're allowing those moments of freedom and freestyle? In a 5v5 crew, typically a lot of times you're going to have somebody pop off, or they do a crew setup of choreo and then one person branches off. That's kind of how like regular battles work, at least from the ones that I've seen in breaking. Now in here, of course, it's very different. Like, does it feel like they're not utilizing their time as much? I don't know. Like, that's the risk they run. So, but I like the fact that they did this, which is really fun. They're here, and I love the fact that her pants, she dropped them low, and then Yeti's trying to get them off, and she couldn't, and they kicked it, so it really looks intentional, because that's what happened to Gabby. This is such a diss, and they're here. Yeah, and just look at her face. She's like, oh my god, I can't believe you did that. It feels very Deep and Top and Wolflow, you know, like in that kind of vibe of just respect for each other, even though it's very high intensity, like it's a lot of pressure. But I don't feel like we're not sitting here biting each other's heads off, right? It's not quite like that anymore. I absolutely love how she chose to recreate that. That was hilarious. I love that. So honestly, I think either crew can take it. If I were to choose out of the two, my vote would have gone to YGX, because they did a really nice diss right here, which I think was super appropriate for the elimination battle. They were clean. Both crews were clean. Both crews demonstrated elements that were really nice to watch, that made me feel like I was watching the crew. They both placated to the audience, no, to the judges, as well as to each other. So I would have given this one to YGX by a large margin. Not quite, but definitely very competitive, and it makes me look forward to the rest of the eliminations that are about to take place and watch. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I was helpful in some way. With these elimination battles, I really feel that we're just able to see just different sides of these crews that we normally don't get to see in the challenges or in the initial battles. So part of me loves seeing them and seeing the crews that are in these eliminations, but part of me is not, because that means one of the crews are not surviving the eliminations. And I do know at this point, season 2, we do have one more grouping of elimination battles that are going to be taking place, and we have no idea who's going to be in them. And I just can't wait to look at that alongside you guys. It's going to be wild, and I don't know if I'm ready for it, but we'll get through it together, and it'll be good. Thank you guys again for watching, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.